Travis, you ready? You ready?
Yeah.
All right, welcome to the talk show as we are here in Rich Herrin Gymnasium. They are doing currently doing the starting lineups for the first game tonight.
First game tonight, it's the old radio guy. I mean, I always want to lean into this, but they say I'm loud enough that I don't have to. This mic will pick us up, but this is our first live podcast. Russ and I have been doing, how many shows is this, 11?
It's our 11th.
11th show, and I said, what the heck, the BIT is my favorite week. Let's take the show on the road. We usually do it from one of our Red Lake cabins in the woods, different locations, but we wanted to do the show live, and if you're going to do the show live at the BIT, you got to bring in the godfather of the BIT, Jim Muir.
Hey, what a joy to be here tonight, and I just have great memories of the BIT. Look forward to talking about many of those memories tonight.
I'm looking forward to it. You know, it was funny, Jim. I asked you earlier today, I said, how many games? And you told me, and I'll let you tell me how many games you did. And I started thinking, you might have covered the BIT longer than Russell's been alive.
I did 25 years, and 24 of them was 15, all 15 games of the BIT. And the interesting, I think, story was that the first year in on WQRL, they only were scheduled to do the Benton games. And we did the Benton games and then sacked up our equipment, and I thought, this ain't right, because this tournament is so important to Benton High School and so important to the community of Benton. We should be the face of this, and we were for many, many years.
So obviously the BIT is I think it's one of the better tournaments in our area for sure. Just being a part of the BIT, I mean, what's it mean to you?
It's just been, well, as I said, I think it's one of the best midwinter tournaments in the state. And then not to mention, I think, to know the history of it, and the tournament actually started because Benton had a brand new gym. This gym was brand new in 1974, and Rich Herrin wanted to put a tournament on to showcase this gym. And the amazing thing is that this gym looks so good after all those years, but it started basically to showcase this gymnasium, which later became known as Rich Herrin Gym.
Well, here's my thing, Jim. All the years, I mean, you write the introductory, I almost called it a column. What do you call this every year that you write for this?
Just a little program entry.
Yeah. Jim writes the introduction every year to start the BIT. You have for a long, long time. I'm reading through it today, and I have to admit, with all the sports I'm around all the time, sometimes I forget the unbelievable history. Even though I live here, I'm around it all the time. What unbelievable history that you've got to cover as a fan, as a broadcaster, and still in the media now, as what you do still with writing your monthly magazine, Southern Illinois Sports Connection. This is just, I say it because I'm impartial, but just an amazing tournament.
Travis, I think the funny thing is that I can remember stories and games. I can't tell you what I had for dinner last night, but I can remember, things that Rich Herrin told me about. One of the things he wanted to do when he started this, to bring in he brought in Meridian and different teams, and Edwardsville out of the Metro, and Oakville and Alney, where his brother Ron coached, different styles of basketball, and to kind of showcase all those different styles in 1 week of basketball here. And then just that we'll talk about as we go along. I got a program booklet, and just to flip through the pages and remember those years and the great memories, unbelievable.
And I was talking with Russ earlier, just talking about the different players that have been in this tournament.
Oh, yeah.
The team. I mean, I got one for you. I had someone saying, well, I don't like the format now. I said, do you realize this tournament started this format? This was not always a round robin.
It started out in 1974 in the eight teams, just like the format now. And then in 1980, a really good story about that. Back in then, but that's been 46 years ago, when Rich Herrin decided to go to this round robin format and 5 games in the course of a week. Everybody kind of thought he was crazy, but the thing that a lot of folks don't know and maybe has missed, he set that up. But Rich wasn't just ahead of his times. He was way ahead of his times. He set that up to replicate what the format was of the week of the super sectional and then the state tournament, where you're playing a game. And that week you're playing Tuesday night and then Friday afternoon, or Friday night, then Saturday afternoon, Saturday night. And so he set that whole thing up to kind of imitate that week, and that's why he went to that. But everybody thought he was crazy. And the first year, 1980, 4 teams tied for first place. I was looking at that just a minute ago. 1980, Benton, Cairo, Pinckneyville, and Oakville all finished at 3-2, and everybody's saying, "Oh, this is going to be terrible," and it never ever happened again. Not one time in all that format years, it never happened again. Had I think maybe 3 years where there was a 3-way tie, but everything never went 4-way other than that very first year.
Well, I got one for you, Russ. I always joke with Russ, I'm up about 53 questions on him, but I'll say this one, I'll let Russ ask about 4 straight. I always say Rich Herrin was ahead of his time in 2 things. He's setting up the tournament, Robin, and NIL.
And I will leave that one alone. I'll not touch that.
Obviously Coach Herrin is a great coach, but he went on to SIU after a while. But talk about the evolution of the BIT. It's like we mentioned earlier, started out with the 8-team format like it is today, and then went through the round robin. Talk about all the phases with the different coaches. Who are kind of your favorites?
That's one of the things, Russ, is that, and Travis will remember this, some of the coaches that have been through here are these legendary coaches. Like you're talking about, in years you had in the tournament, you had Dave Lechterfeld, David Lee, you had Billy Chumbra from Cairo, Rich Herrin, Ron Herrin, all at the same tournament.
Yeah.
It's just incredible talent, and you better be ready to play when you take the floor, because those guys those are Hall of Fame coaches.
Yeah.
And and we'll talk later too about the history of the teams that came through here and the success they had in postseason. But even after Rich left, you never saw any drop off in the BIT. Ron Herrin came in and stayed busy and stayed great attendance. And then after Ron, I guess it was Don Smith.
Yep.
Don Smith came in, then Tony Phelps, and right on down the line. And you never saw the BIT ever fall off in attendance. And you'd see you had all the teams playing every night, and it was just you saw coaches come in here on Monday night that were scouting other teams, and you got to where you learned who was going to be here and as the week went on, and it was great. And the coaches, wouldn't it be interesting to add up the wins?
Oh.
And then when you went from David Lee, you went to Kurt Reed.
Right.
And Kurt Reed he's got like 750 wins in his career. And I'll say this about Coach Reed and Coach Benton's superintendent, Benji Johnson. Benji's senior year at McLeansboro, they went 0-5 in the BIT, 91.
That's what I was going to ask about,
91.
Benji didn't play,
Yeah.
and he was hurt, and they went on and got 3rd place at state that year. So that just shows you how things were. It was just an incredible tournament.
Yeah, I think I was going to actually bring something up like that. Just go back, look at, say, Dick Korn, which Dick Korn had a great time here playing in the coaching in the BIT, but what about the coaches and teams coming in, their record? Whenever you come here to play at Rich Herrin Gymnasium, it's a little bit tough.
You're exactly right, and I've heard so many players talk about how this was the highlight of their year, to come in here and play on this floor, because you had, when you had this place packed out. I know I'm going to sound biased, and I probably am. I don't think there's a better facility in St. Illinois. When you get a crowd in here, it's an unbelievable atmosphere. I've called many games in here that were jam-packed, and there's not a better facility, I don't believe.
Jim, talk about just in recent years. You got a chance. 17 was your last year doing play-by-play. Obviously, you and I worked together many different years. here's what I think about. What about the crowds those last couple years you were a part of when Pinckneyville and Benton played in the BIT with Oxford and Wills? I'm looking down at those guys. I'm looking at those teams. I'm thinking about who Pinckneyville had. Jostle and those guys were just some. I'm looking down through here. J.C. Mall, just some unbelievable players. Those games, I'll never forget the kid running through with the flag, the atmosphere about 10 years ago here in the BIT. Russell was 8 years old.
I remember it, though.
And
it was awesome.
That's it. And I look at here, and you forget about some of this, but in 2016, Benton goes 5-0.
Yep.
2017, Benton goes 5-0. And I knew 17 was my last year. I had the WQRL did me a great service. They was going to run for office.
Yeah.
And I told them, if I get elected, or if I don't get elected, this is all for me.
Yeah.
But here's my request. Even if I get elected as circuit clerk, I'm going to come back and do basketball and finish up with Derek Oxford,
yes,
Austin Mills, and I wanted to go out with those guys. And
I remember, and if you remember, I did football that year, and then you came back for basketball.
Yeah, and they allowed me to do that. And of course, I came in with those guys where they were freshmen, and I watched them take some licks as freshmen, and then they just got better and better and better. And then their senior year, I closed out the season here.
Yes.
And they got beat by Centralia.
You and Tom Wheaton, right?
Yeah, in the sectional championship.
Yeah,
and it was like you couldn't get another person in here.
I remember that.
Yeah.
You hear Sweet Carolina after, I was like, no.
It reminded me of 84. It reminded me of Benton McLeansboro 84. My dad's got pictures. I'm sure he showed you. There's kids hanging around the rafters. There's kids here.
Yeah, I remember talking about it. And Russell, we were talking about, he didn't know that Bruce Baker is my nephew. And I remember Bruce telling the story that when he ran out on the floor for the championship game against McLeansboro, every entranceway, all four of them down low, full of people.
Wow.
No way to get to them. On the top, it was the same way. And he said, when we got on the floor for the warm-ups, he said you couldn't see an exit. He said all you could see was just people wall to wall all the way around you. And we've seen it like that before in here. 17 was that way, but and it just, I could go on, I could talk. We've kidded about staying on till midnight. Get me rolling here. We may be here till midnight. I'm not sure.
No, I from my experience, I love those atmospheres. Obviously, I haven't got to see all that you have, but 2015 is whenever I really started to get into basketball, and then just to see the atmospheres of the BIT has just been awesome. I remember the last year Pinckneyville was in here, it was just extraordinary because we probably didn't finish how we wanted to. I think we lost in the regional semi that year, but it's still two great teams that played really well, and it was really fun to watch.
And I think that the tournament lost a little bit when Pinckneyville left out, and I think the Pinckneyville tournament lost a little bit when Benton left.
Sure.
And I understand totally why they did it, because you've got in the same division now. And you don't want to end up playing 5 times a year.
Well,
and so I think Pinckneyville had an unbelievable run over there.
I will say this: Grant Owens is one of my son's best friends, and they were watching the national title game at my house last night. And I will just say this on live here on the podcast, that those guys like the fact that the last year they ever played in the Duster Thomas, what happened?
We won.
They won it.
Yeah.
Those guys were seniors. They were able to win the Duster Thomas, was, our last year being in it. But I'm with you. I get why. Jeremy Keith's a good friend of mine. His son, is playing at Wynn Lake right now. And Jeremy and I talked when Benton played Pinckneyville last week. He said, Trav, I get it. I understand we're in the same conference, but, man, I wish we played about 10 times a year. The crowds last year.
Oh, it was extraordinary.
The BIT crowd here.
Now, was the last game then against Benton and Pinckneyville, and at Pinckneyville, was that the Dr. Tedeschi free throws?
Yes.
What a way to go out, huh? I didn't mean to rub that in.
It'll never be forgotten, Jim. It'll never be forgotten.
Hey, plug for Ball and for God. The highlights are up from that game.
You've got them on there.
Yeah, but that was just awesome to see. Obviously we're talking about Duster Thomas. So obviously we're talking about the Duster Thomas here, but both of those tournaments are. I know Duster Thomas has only been going for 18 years, but both those tournaments have been really good, really fun to be a part of, especially when our Benton and Pinckneyville match up. It's awesome.
Yeah, I always enjoyed going to the Duster Thomas, and of course, you know, you had Coach Corn, and then you never, you know, and Bobby Wagner came in and he talked about not missing a beat. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
Wagner came in, yeah, and
Didn't they win 5 straight BIT titles?
yeah, they win.
And they changed the name there for a minute, and I'm a, you know, my maroon blood that comes out. I mean, they changed it to the PIT there for a minute.
Yeah. Well, and they also I was talking to Coach Wagner one time and interviewed him, and he said, you know, they're talking about changing the BIT to the Bob Invitational Tournament. And I said, I'm not going to say that very loud in Benton, I can tell you that.
Well, just some unbelievable battles over the years. And, you know, for the people, you know, we're talking some of the, you know, 80s tournaments, 90s tournaments. Obviously, the last, you know, few years, some great games. But, you know, people forget sometimes, you know, if you look back, this just shows that buzzer never gets any lower, but you know, this just shows Benton, Carterville, Flora, Herrin, Vandalia, Cessna, Meridian, and McLeansboro, the 8 teams now. I'd like to get a program from about 5 years ago because it showed all the, I mean, think about Oakville, Carlisle. I mean, think about Carlisle, the history they have. I mean, there's been some great other schools that sometimes people forget about.
And you know, something else that we could probably spend an hour talking about if we wanted to go year by year was the teams that came out of here. And I can remember years when Benton and Cairo come out of here and played in the Super.
Yes.
Benton and Oakville came out of here, played in the Super. Peterville and Cairo played in the Super. You know, I mean, just these teams that are coming out of this tournament making deep runs. I mean, and Peterville won what? 2 state championships?
Yes,
3?
94 and 01.
Yeah, and they both of them coming out of BIT.
Yes.
And Cairo going to Champaign and Peoria. It was incredible.
84. So 84, McLeansboro comes out of this tournament state champ. 94, Peterborough comes out of this tournament state champ. 01, Peterborough comes out of this tournament state champ.
84, McLeansboro comes out of state champs, and Benton goes in 2A.
Yes.
To Champaign.
Yes.
It's beat in overtime by Evanston, who ends up winning it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you had 2 teams here, both make it to the Elite 8 that year. BIT.
The funny story my dad always talks, and I know you and my dad talk a lot. My dad always tells a story. So I was born in 78, so I'm 6 years old at that. I technically hadn't turned 6 years old yet. It's April of 84, I would have been 6. I'm 5 years old, and I won't yell the guy's name from Benton. But my dad says, I come out of Assembly Hall, I'm kicking and screaming, and I'm yelling at one of the Rangers. I'm saying, that stupid Evanston team. I'm bawling my eyes out. Dave's countering me out, screaming. But, well, that's what makes this tournament awesome is, and here's what I'm going to say, too, the communities are a big part of it that made this tournament so awesome, how much they care about basketball.
Exactly, and I think the Benton fans have been super through the years at supporting this tournament. You know, even if Benton won, Benton fans didn't just show up when Benton played. They came to the tournament, and you know, they've had, and I think all the fans, Bentonville had great fans that came all week. Hamilton County had great fans that come all week. You know, when I think it was Cairo left the tournament, and funny story, Ryan Miller calls me on the phone. It's in the summer, and he says, "Hey, I just got notice that Cairo's leaving the BIT." And he said, "Any idea who you might be interested?" And I said, "I'll tell you a team that's looking for something." And he said, "Who's that?" And I said, "Chester Valera."
Yes.
And he said, "You think they join?" I said, "I'm confident they will. Let me check." I drove to Cessna. I was going across 154, drove to Cessna, went to Subway, walk in there, says Chip Bastow and Sam Garner and Subway. And I said, "Hey, I got to do it." And they said, "Are you kidding?" I said, "No, I'm not kidding." They signed a contract that afternoon.
That's awesome.
And
that's a God moment right there.
You know what I told Ryan? I said, if you bring Cessna in, you'll also bring Cessna's fans in. And I said, they're not only they're good fans, they're knowledgeable fans, you know. So
yes,
that would be a great asset to the tournament. And then they came in, I think, the first year and didn't do real well, and then went on and got second in the state.
Yeah.
And
2010.
And you can ask Chip Basso, he'll say this tournament kind of laid the groundwork for them to do well in postseason because of the tough competition they saw in here. So
I remember them telling me Justin Matty was all tournament that year, and you know how good Justin Matty was. Dane Eubanks, you know these families very well. You grew up with these people, but this has really, if you look at their 2010 and 14 and 19, when Cesar's gone to the state tournament, those teams greatly benefited from playing in this format.
Yeah, no doubt.
And I really believe that almost any team that plays in here and has got a good team.
Well, we saw it in Meridian.
Yeah, saw it in Meridian. Yeah. And I think back in that format they had before, I think Rich had the right idea. You play these games this week, and you're used to that format of playing a game on Friday night,
yes,
2 games on Saturday, and you're used to playing that. So I think it was a great help. See, who would have thought about that? But Rich Herrin. I mean, nobody else.
Head coach ahead of his time.
Yeah, way ahead of his time. Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, we don't want to keep you on here too long. I know we said midnight, but hey, just looking back, we talked about before we got on the show some all-time games here. But what's been your? I can't limit you here because it's hard. But what's been some of your favorite games to be a part of here?
Well, I think the one that Travis mentioned, the 80. It would have been the 84 when Benton and McLeansboro played up here. Both teams came in at 4-0, and that was a game I was talking about where Bruce Baker tells me every entrance was jammed.
Yeah.
And that was a game. And then in '93, I believe it was.
Yeah.
It was Pinckneyville and McLeansboro, and Pinckneyville was ranked number 1 in the state, and McLeansboro was ranked 2. And they came in here and met like at 6 o'clock on a Wednesday night.
Yes.
And the legend has it that there was 1,000 people lining up outside before they ever unlocked the door to get in to see that game.
Yeah.
And that's 2. And then that 17 game. Of course, I love that team with Derek Oxford and Wills and Parker Williams and those boys. Hamilton was on.
Timmy Henson was our point guard.
I love that team.
Hamilton Page, and Gwynn.
Yeah, and that's the team that I went out with. And so that 17 year when they won it, I was so happy for them. I can kind of get emotional talking about that because that was just such a special ending to the year, and that was an exclamation point. And then to get to broadcast the last game here at Rich Herrin Gym in that in that sectional that year.
Yeah.
And then I'll tell you one more story. To bring it to speed, in 24, when Benton had the run with the team that got second.
Billington, Tedeschi, Munoz, Melvin.
They do
awesome.
that NFHT game or whatever.
Yes.
And Ryan Miller called me and said, he said, we don't have any sound on that. Would you want to do the voice on that for all 3 games of the sectional? And he said, what would you charge me? I said, I'll tell you exactly what I'll charge you. I'll charge you 0. I said, that's
I would do the same.
Went there and did and then I get to do the Benton Breeze Central game, which might be one of the greatest games ever.
Yeah,
ever,
that was awesome.
And I've watched, and got to be a part of that. So, so those games stand out to me. Golly, there's just been so many that you hate to slight anybody. And I mean, some of the great players, Cairo, Armand Matthews, and Selma Snow, and Lorenzo Duncan, and Tyrone Nesby. I mean, those people went on and played professional basketball,
Even Michael Jordan.
And then you got those great years with the Benton players through the years, and Pinckneyville, and Kyle Cassidy.
Oh, yeah.
It would have to be from Pinckneyville. Would have to rate as one of the best players that I ever saw. He was about 6'5", handled the ball, and saw the floor better than anybody I've ever, passed the ball, and probably could have scored 30 a game on a lot of teams, but he dished the ball. And so just a great player. So if I got started going through players, I
was going to do it, Jim, just for a minute, because I'll find it. You wrote all this, but it talks about, I'm just going to throw a couple names out there, and I'm going to save one for last because where we do our show now, the new location we use, I have this guy's jersey up that I might have taken a long time ago because they were throwing jerseys out a long time ago. It's a freshman jersey. It's not his varsity jersey, but a guy that's coaching right now, Shane Hawkins, Derek Oxford, Randy House, Bruce Baker, your nephew, Austin Wills, Haven Hicks from Pinckneyville, Nick Marlowe from Sesser. Those are just some names. Talk about some of those guys, and I'm going to save the best for last. I know you're close with his family, but we'll talk about him last.
The thing about, I like Shane Hawkins, the only 2 players in the history of this tournament ever got named to the all-tournament team 4 times. Hawkins, so that means you come in here as a freshman and you're good enough to make the all-tournament team. And the other one we'll talk about last is J.J. Johnson.
Yeah.
And I remember watching Hawkins come in, and you just saw this kid was way ahead of, he was way ahead of everybody else his age. I mean, he could go out and compete. He was 14, 15 years old, and he's competing against 18-year-olds, and not just competing, but excelling against them. And and that's back in an era. I don't mean anything disrespectful about that, but you didn't see freshmen playing varsity basketball then like you do now. You just didn't see it happening. So Hawkins will always go down as one of the great players. And I remember a story. Like I said, I get started thinking about these things. Dick Corn told me a story about he went to Hawkins before his senior year, and he said, "Now here's the thing. You can go out and average 30 a game." And he said, "We're going to be a good team. If you go out and average 18 or 20 a game and get everybody else involved and hand the ball off and take care of your teammates," he said, "we could be a great team." And Hawkins said, "I want to be a great team."
Wow.
And he took something off of his game offensively that got other people involved. And the irony of that story is that to win the state championship, it was an assist from Hawkins to Ryan Bruns that made the shot to win the game. So it kind of goes full circle on that, that's how it played out at the end of the game. They won the state championship. Great game,
Yeah, not to rub it in, but I get to see that. We played at Pinckneyville Friday night, and Ronnie has me keep the book for away games so I can't get thrown out. So I'm on the book, and Pinckneyville has a new thing when they start their games, kind of like we do with Benton. They play a little intro, and they play that intro from the '94 state tournament of Hawkins getting into Bruns. It's pretty awesome. Even a Benton guy to see that. That's 32 years ago to see that.
I saw.
Hawk gives it to Bruns, his childhood best friend. He makes the shot.
And I remember Benton beat JoJo's senior year. Benton beat Pinckneyville in a sectional, and I remember somebody saying they felt sorry for Hawkins, and JoJo said, "This is my year. He's a junior. He can have a year later, but this is my year."
That's awesome.
And good stuff, But I mean, like you mentioned, Baker. Baker probably got the most of his talent. The thing about Bruce, I always said, Bruce wasn't quick. Bruce couldn't jump, but Bruce averaged 23 a game and 12 rebounds consistently against AA competition. Playing against Centralia, Mount Vernon, Carbondale, against the great teams, So
his jersey's up there, isn't it?
Yeah.
And retired a couple years ago.
Yeah. They retired. They retired him, and they may have got him and JoJo the same time.
Yeah, Joe's up there. Danny Johnson, Billy Smith, Rich Youngest, Doug Collins. I mean, there's a reason why this gym has so much history.
Absolutely, and so those are great memories. And of course, JoJo, playing here. Let me throw something out at you that a lot of folks don't think about. If this tournament would have stayed a 5-game format, Joe scored, I believe, 151 points.
Yeah, he did.
In 5 games. So that's averaging 31 a game. Okay, so you're going to get 31 on Monday night, 31 on Wednesday night, 31 on Friday, and then 31 twice on Saturday.
That's
158.
158 over 5 games. So I made the comment one time. I said, DiMaggio's 56 games and Ted Williams is 402. Cal Ripken's most consecutive games; those will never be broken.
No.
I don't believe that point total would have ever been broken in a 5-game format. Nobody can score 31 5 times in a week, but JoJo did.
I've been partial to him. I always tell these guys, we talk about it on the show every week. I always joke about being the old man. With these Dr. Young and Russ, 19 years old, and they know how much, as an 8th grader, JoJo's a senior, we worship the guy.
Yeah.
I mean, when I see Kenny Irvin, I think of his head being painted, JoJo everywhere, But, I mean, I will say this, of all the guys, and there's been professional players There's been professionals come out of this, major Division I players. Was JoJo the best you ever saw?
Yeah, at the high school level, absolutely.
Yeah.
And you know, I guess one of the things that I enjoyed most about watching him was that I knew his family really well. I worked in the coal mine with his dad in another lifetime. I played Santa Claus for JoJo, took him a bicycle, took Missy a doll, and played Santa Claus for him on Christmas Eve. So I knew him growing up and watched him progress. And yeah, at the high school level, he could do things. You very seldom do you say that player can take over a game. But he said, but I believe JoJo is one of those very few players that can literally take over a game on both ends of the floor. And he was smart enough. He was about 6'2", 6'3".
Yeah.
He could take it. If you guard him with a quick guard, he'll take you down low and post you up, and nobody tells him to. He just takes you down there. If you guard him out front with a guy slower, he'll take him to the basket. I mean, he's just smart and a lot of basketball sense.
I will tell you this. I have a freshman son that's about 6'2", 195, and I make him watch about once a month. We watch the quarterfinal game on IHSA, and I'm going to tell you a stat that blows me away. And I tell my buddies, this isn't Travis Severin being evangelist here, trying to, fluff it up a little bit. In the quarterfinal game at state, JoJo Johnson at 6'2", had 41 points, 17 rebounds, and 8 assists.
Yeah, that's a great
17
game.
rebounds.
Yeah.
I know.
And I'll tell you, and he wouldn't care for me saying this. Joe was he certainly came along with some controversy with him. Because, he played hard and he played physical, but I watched him through the years, and the funny thing, the best JoJo story I've got, we're down at Max Morris Gym playing West Frankfort. Place is absolutely packed, and they're after Joe. The entire student body's after him, and Joe does something and gets a technical foul. And of course, and then the West Frankfort student body starts yelling, "Joe, Joe, Joe," and the whole gym for West Frankfort is doing it. And when Benton got the ball back, Joe could not get the ball fast enough. He's like slapping his hands, wanting the ball, and he took like 2 steps across the half line and let it go, nothing but the bottom of the net, and then turned to the West Frankfort student section and went. And it was like, that's priceless. You can't package something like that.
Oh, you can't.
It was good stuff,
That's awesome.
Hey, I want to mention one more thing, and I think you'll agree with this, Travis. Is the thing that you talk about great games, great coaches, great players. I can't tell you the relationships that we have been made through the decades with the BIT. People I met from McLeansboro, the Super Fox that passed away, but all the coaches, and then just people I've known over there. Endicott, right here, with the sunglasses on. Right here. He's sitting there down that bottom row right there since 1980. He's been sitting there when they came over here. And just there's so many, Pennyville, Cairo, Coach Larry Baldwin. Remember Coach Larry Baldwin?
We're getting my kid on the bottom. Trey, you're on that. Look at this. We're making Joe's Pizza, bringing his food back here, Jim.
Hey, and the thing too.
I gotta pay him.
We used to do
put it right here. Where can he set it? Where can he set it?
Here's.
Hey, get on the camera. His mom says I'm a cheapskate. Look, I'm giving you a tip, son. Trey, anything you want to say? Hey, how fun was it playing in the BIT?
It was amazing. I miss it so much. BIT and the PIT, best experiences, best tournaments to play in by far.
Matt Malkovich used to, he coined the phrase, BIT stands for Best Illinois Tournament.
Yes.
And I think you can trace the history of the teams, and you're not going to miss that far. Midwinter tournaments, show me the better one. Through the years, you may have a year when it really excels, but year after year after year, and the caliber of the teams and what they've done in postseason, and add all that together, and I don't believe you can beat this tournament. And one other little thing we'll mention, we used to do, and I started doing it, and it was so much fun. We used to do the BIT coaches dinner. And we get together. And we get together on Sunday night before the BIT started, and all 5 coaches would come in.
Hey,
I mean,
they don't even know what bonanza means.
yeah.
Hey, I've heard of it. So.
And
He's heard of it.
Larry Baldwin would drive up from Cairo.
Oh,
Dave
my, that's a
Lechtenfeld
trip.
would drive over from Oakville, and we'd do a 2-hour radio show and just bring them all up to talk to them, talk about their team that year, and you know we get a meal provided. They bring their wives with them.
That's awesome.
It was just an unbelievable experience. So yeah, get me started about the BIT.
Let's
You
bring it
probably
back.
regret
No.
you asked me on here because
Well,
I've got great memories from this tournament.
I'll say this: you and I have known each other a long time. They don't know this either, but you know, you were my baseball coach when I was 10 years old.
Yeah.
And I'm 47. I'll just say this, and sometimes I get emotional with stuff. But do you ever pinch yourself? Because I know how old you are. We've known each other a long time. The stuff you got to do and cover in this gym, and not just in this gym, all over Southern Illinois.
You know, I tell you what, I look back and now I will get emotional. But you know
Sorry.
what? And that's okay. But I tell you what, I look at with those emotions. God has blessed me.
Yes.
Blessed me unbelievably.
Yeah.
I am blessed, and I probably need to say that because the opportunity. I was a coal miner for 20 years and working as a swing shift, and got out of that and somehow found out I had a little talent for writing, and then fall into a broadcast job, and then the history that was made, and the people that I got acquainted with and got to know, and so yeah, God bless me, there's not one day in my life goes by that I don't offer thanks for those blessings, and you know what, the best part, and I may take an offering up here in a minute, but the best thing about those blessings is that I have the wisdom. I give thanks for the wisdom and the knowledge to know where they came from.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with Jim, and had everything to do with God's mercy and grace for me. So how you like that for a close?
Hey, well, I'm gonna hit you with one more thing before Russ asks you this. You just did an article because I love Tom Wheeler. We both do, and you called games with him. I called games with him on a different radio station. You called games on him on QRL, with him on QRL. He doesn't realize my dad's tour gets about 500 Sports Connection magazines each month, and I don't tell him.
Yeah.
He brings me one to weeks,
Yeah.
and I look at it with him, and we go through it. But you did an article on Nathaniel Marlowe. We had him on the show last week. A clip of his went viral that were with us. Nothing that Russ and I did, all about Jesus, but is he real? I mean, is he human?
He's an unbelievable young man, and I really feel like that I jumped on that bandwagon with him way back last year toward the end of the year after it was over with. I kind of added up his points, and I thought, this kid's got a shot.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a shot, and you don't see anybody. I mean, there have been 6 players in the history of Illinois.
Yeah, I was
that's
looking
got
at it.
over 3,000.
Your article was talking about the names.
And he's going to make that, but I think the thing that impressed me the most about him was I'd heard that he did a story in another publication, and he talked about his faith, and they pulled that quote.
Oh.
And when I ran it in the Sports Connection,
Yeah.
I ran it verbatim what
Yes.
he said, then turned around and ran it again this year what he said, because I admire him so
Me
much
too.
for having just courage to jump out and say the things that he does about his faith. You don't find very many kids doing that. Look who just came in. The old Sly Fox.
There he is, Kurt Reed right there.
Kurt Reed in the house. Him and his lovely wife Janet came in tonight.
Yeah, let alone even adults. I mean, it's truly inspiring, and I plan on doing this. We had him on the podcast, and I plan on doing another story follow-up on him. And he's just a really good kid, and I don't know, he's really fun to talk to. I mean, I've known him since his sophomore year, my junior year, and I watched him play his freshman year. He's just really fun to be around. When you see a player like that, you think all basketball. It's not all basketball for him. It's God first.
That boy he will accomplish a lot more. As for all he's accomplished at the high school level in basketball, I believe he'll accomplish more than that in the rest of his life.
Yeah.
He's a long way from being done.
I agree.
I believe that. So just great. And I'm going to tell you a quick story. PIT coaches dinner.
Hey, we're going till midnight. You're
Okay.
fine. Hey, Bryan Laur's next, and you know Bryan, he writes in your sports connection. He can wait.
Coach,
Russ, he can wait, can he?
Yeah.
Coach Reed, one year he gets a technical foul in the last night of the BIT for being out of the coach's box. So we went to do our BIT coaches dinner the next year, and somebody said, "You don't have enough guts to ask Kurt Reed, who's kind of a rough old guy.
Oh, yeah.
You don't have enough guts to ask him about that technical foul he got." So I took it one step further, I measured the distance from where the coach sits to the end of the box, and I went and had him make up a in Kelly green
I love
and
it.
white,
Love it.
and I presented it to him on the air. And you know what? He laughed, and everybody. And from that moment on, me and Kurt have been buddies.
That's
He
awesome.
delivers. He helped me deliver. I needed a Macedonia. Every month he takes papers to McLeansboro, and what did he tell me? McLeansboro and Broughton and Dogtown and
No, I love it.
Walpole and
Yeah.
I don't even know what he's talking about. Bug Tussle and but Kurt's a great guy, and he took over from David Lee.
Sure.
And then he had great success there, you know. So good stuff, guys.
Russ, bring it home with him.
Well, I really appreciate you coming on. As it's we just getting ready to start the second half here. It's been real fun having you on. It's our first live show we've ever done, and I really appreciate you coming on.
I can't tell you how much I've enjoyed it, guys, and thank you so much for the invitation. I mean, when Travis asked me, I jumped on it quickly because I love to talk about the BIT. I love to talk Benton basketball, but I love to talk about the BIT, and it will forever hold memories in my heart. So it's great to share those memories, maybe with some folks that don't remember those games or those years. So thank you.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, before we go, Carville's up 35-20 with 7:41 left. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Going.
So we're back, man. We're back.
We're back. Just a couple minute break, and we're already back with Mr. Bryan Laur. All right, get it clear because there's a lot of different people pronounce it. How do you pronounce your last name?
It's really easy. It's just Laur, like car, tar, bar, and
Laur.
yeah, it's just that simple. But there's a lot of Laur and heard this year a few say Laur and whatever. So anyway, it's just Bryan Laur. Yep.
So obviously you've been a big part of the Cessna community. You've got kids over there. You got one that's currently in high school, and then you're a part of the FCA. Tell everybody who you are. And there's a lot of people that know you, but what do you do?
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess I do a lot of different things. But if we're talking from a standpoint of FCA, I get to be the area director for Southern Illinois, so the lower 18 counties. Up as high as Marion County, which is like Centralia, Salem area, all the way down to Massac County and across. I'm in charge of hiring, training, and just being a servant for our area reps. Right now we have 2 full-time area reps and a part-time, and they work in different geographic areas of our Southern Illinois group, and we just do a lot of mentoring and helping to disciple people who are looking for a platform to share their faith in Jesus and how they can, have an opportunity to do it better. And it's usually with sports as a platform. But honestly, we have such an opportunity to just be in schools where a lot of people don't. A lot of travel teams where other people think, well, I don't know if we should be doing this or not. And we just say, let's go. Let's talk about our faith and live it out. So.
Fellowship of Christian Athletes, obviously. I always like to give the full name because when we say FCA, the three of us know not everyone knows what it stands for.
Yep.
So I actually, just to piggyback off Jim Muir that was just on the show with us, Jim writes Southern Illinois Sports Connection. That's his baby. You're part of that. You write a column in that each month. And I read today before that, I knew you were coming on. Obviously, I got a hold of you. And talk about I thought it was a really nice the article that you wrote. Talk about some of the goals you have for FCA and what that means.
Yeah. So our mission is to bring every coach and athlete into a growing relationship with Jesus Christ and his church. So when you start saying every coach and every athlete,
that's a lot.
Yeah, just look at who's here tonight that, would consider themselves a coach or an athlete. That's a lot right there, right?
And those counties you probably have what? Several hundred, right? Over 1,000?
As far as athletes and such?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's like we have 33 of the 47 high schools or 18 counties have FCA. Like on a weekly or at the very least a monthly basis, they're doing Bible studies, they're doing small groups and just all kinds of ways that coaches can share their faith with their athletes. And again, we just give them that platform. But some of our goals, like the more volunteers we have, and again, some of these they're teachers, they're people in communities who work with these students every week in some way. But a lot of the work we're doing is to just be kind of the backbone for those people to say, well, I don't really know what to do. And we have all kinds of resources, whether it's, discipleship, like programs for them to run. We have all kinds of different leadership things we do, both in individual ways, but also in big groups throughout the year, and a lot of our camps. So some of our goals would be, I've got a goal of getting a full-time person hired in the Carbondale area. We had Mr. Roger Lipe. He was the Fellowship of Christian Athletes full-time rep for like 26 years, and a lot of times he was the only one. And sometimes as many as 40 counties. So again, to say the scope of what we do, it goes on and on and on. There's so many different ways that we can share Jesus with people. And I'm telling you, it has blown up. I've been on staff going on my 4th year, and just in that short amount of time, it feels like it's been forever, and at the same time, it feels like it's been just like that. And just how there are so many more kids going to different FCA groups. There are so many more coaches saying, hey, how can I be a part of this? than there were just a few years ago. But in that Carbondale, that is loud.
Wow.
The Carbondale area is without a full-time person, and we've found when we have those full-time people who are able to, I'm not even going to say mentor, but just serve in the areas we have right now. We have Britt Fullerton, who lives in Mount Vernon, serving in Jefferson, Washington, and Marion counties. And then we have Austin Dixon serving in Williamson County and Saline County. Those areas are just blowing up, with again, kids who want to share their faith, who are really, really good at it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's something that's a skill. It takes time and it takes faith, obviously, yes. But it's something that they're learning. If I just sit back, being an example is good, but being a leader who is verbal and can get out and share their testimonies and talk about, how they're living out their faith every day, that's where we're starting to see this huge growth.
I say with Russell and Doc Young, they're 19 years old.
Yep, isn't that crazy?
I noticed that, I'm 47. I know how old you are. You're a couple years older than me.
I'm more than a couple.
You're a few years older than me. I'm impressed with this generation that aren't afraid to talk about the gospel and Jesus with sports. It used to be kind of taboo. I'd watch I remember Kurt Warner caught flack in the late 90s and early 2000s. Yeah. They were like, quit talking so much Jesus, Kurt. And he didn't want to. Yep. Nowadays, I'm talking every time a guy gets interviewed, they're not scared.
At all. Yep.
I think FCA is a part of that.
Yeah. It is. And again, I can see it because I'm living it out every day with FCA. But I'd also say that's probably me 10, 12 years ago. I got to be a part of some stuff, with Shane Garner, but he was bringing along a guy who I talk about a lot, named Eric Drake.
Yeah.
And Eric was our character coach. He was the pastor at the time at Hazeldale Church out in Predecessor. And he came and talked to our kids just on Saturdays, and then he was at the games. But he was somebody who really, at that point, I was definitely would say I was following Jesus, but I would also say I wasn't in any way public about it.
Yeah.
And like you say, I struggled with, I'm a sinner, so I don't want to be a hypocrite.
Devil get in your ear, man.
Absolutely. And that's where I just getting to be a part of that for a while really opened my eyes to I'm never going to be perfect.
No.
And we need to go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we got to do this. And FCA, I started talking with Justin Raby, Bob Pankey, and just giving me these opportunities is what it's all about.
Yeah.
And hey, what you're doing, again, like, I just see my son getting fed by getting to talk to you and communicate with you and that sort of thing. Don't think that's normal. It's extraordinary.
Yeah.
I really enjoy being around. I know Jonah Ruffino, and so Jonah has been a big impact in my life. And then I know he's doing a Bible study group with those guys now.
Yes, he does.
And I don't know, it's just like hearing from Banks and then hearing from Jonah and then getting to know all those guys over there now. It's been really encouraging to hear all those guys. It sounds like a real good group to be around. And I really enjoy the Cessna community because hearing from Jonah, Sean, and all those guys share everything, and then Jim, you're talking about it to me before. It just sounds like a real good community. What's it like to be a part of that community?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, here's one thing I'd say, and again, we can talk basketball-wise or sports-wise. Every school, trust me, has their peaks and valleys.
Oh, yeah,
you know what I mean? Yeah. And it's a lot of times, this is something that's always said is it's not always the X's and O's, it's the Jimmys and Joes, right? So, but I would say this, even when there's a struggle in a particular sport, Stecerville shows up. You know what I mean? Like,
I was there against Morville. Yeah.
Travel so well. Yes, exactly. And are there more people there when you're on a 10-game winning streak opposed to a 6-game losing streak? There's that too. But even when there's struggles, it's such a close-knit community, and that's that's been the case for my entire lifetime.
Faith is huge. You know, I have family.
Yeah.
Obviously, I have, you know, my aunt and uncle, Mark and Don Miller. I mean, you know
Yes.
them. You know,
Oh, yeah.
you know
Very
my
well.
cousin. You know Dana Wingo. You know,
Yep.
you know my family with Danny Miller and his family. But I've always known from being related with Cessor is a very Christ-centered community.
Yep. And again, yeah, I won't go into too much of. That's not the case everywhere.
No,
you know what I mean.
No, it's not the case everywhere.
And you're right, and a lot of it has had to do with a lot of people 30, 40, 50 years ago that weren't scared to share their faith. But and a lot of good little churches, like I mentioned Hazel Dell.
Yeah, sure.
There's a lot of good little churches in that area.
Yes.
And, you know, it's a struggle now for some of them to continue to go on.
Sure.
But
yeah, not everyone goes to church like us with 600-700 people.
Exactly. Yeah. Whittington Church is big, and there's positives and negatives to all of that, right?
There is.
So,
hey, I grew up in a church. Fires and Revival had about 30 people, and I was sometimes I was the youth group.
Yeah, yes.
You know what I mean?
Nope, I do.
But go ahead, Russ.
Obviously, we've talked some about our faith and stuff, but getting to be a part of the Cessor community, you talked about that, but talk about being a part of this BIT. I mean, you guys have been a part of it the last several years, and you've been on the bench coaching. What's it mean to be a coach for Cessor and then to be a part of this tournament?
Yeah, so I got to be I was an assistant in 2010. So it was 2009, 2010 was the first year I was an assistant for Cessor Villiers. What's that?
Said you were spoiled.
Yes. Yep. So that year, Chip Basso was his first, I believe, his first year being the head coach, and my dad and I both got to be assistants with Shane Garner, and that group was super talented. We played a state championship game.
I was going to say,
but
right here.
Yep, yeah. But the BIT that year was so good for us because we figured out we're not ready to compete with Pinckneyville and win, but we're ready to be on the floor with them. You know what I mean? And like the Benton game, we can talk about this all day, but we were in a position to win that game, and some things didn't go right for us.
I remember something. Justin Matty made all-tournament team, and he'd probably like to have that game back. And he's an unbelievable player at Villiers. You rode that horse to a runner-up state finish. He was a very talented player, but I think the BIT made him better for the postseason.
Absolutely, and our whole team.
Because I know a lot of Cessor people, you included, that thought he's getting his butt fouled every time that game.
Yeah.
But it made him better.
He was.
He was.
But I'd also say, like I remember even on Saturday, because you had two games on Saturday.
Yeah.
We played Oakville in the afternoon, and then I believe it was Pinckneyville that night. Maybe Pinckneyville was Friday night. However it worked out. It was a grind that then the next week, all of a sudden, we were just tougher.
Yeah.
You know, and it's one of two things. Playing bigger teams, and when I say bigger, I mean enrollment-wise and all that, it's either going to beat you down and you don't come back from it, or you're going to come back and be like, wow, how were we not able to do this before? And that's where, especially, you know, when it was like the 5 games and such, it was that grind, but you came back just so much better. And again, we've had a lot of teams that could win the thing, you know what I mean? And I don't think we've ever won it, but I know we went 4-1 one year, and we've had some really good, some teams that went on and did some special things, and being in the BIT definitely helped.
I'm going to ask you a question because you and Russ and Dr. Young, I don't think can answer this yet. If they have kids, their parents don't know, but you're a tremendous player yourself. You grew up around the game. Nick Laur, your father, around the game a long time. Was in education for about 100 years. You can still hit a golf ball about 400 yards. But I say this, it'll make sense. You know, you played at SIU. You played at Wren Lake. Now you're getting to watch your son play. You were a lot better than me. I was not very good. But getting a chance to watch a son play in the BIT last year, and now having one that's a freshman now, how special is it for you to be able to watch Banks?
Yeah. It definitely is, and again, being on this floor is cool. You know what I mean? And again, most people wouldn't even think this, but like, or actually a lot would, but I know there'd be people who argue this. Like, we're going to play at West Frankfort in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
That's a cool gym too. That when I was in high school, we played in the midwinter tournament
yeah.
there, and it was a great tournament.
It was a great tournament, yes.
And so, you know, having these opportunities for him is again, it's, and in some ways, it's a once or twice or maybe 4 years in a lifetime that he's going to look back on. And again, I just hope he can look back on it with a happy heart and with taking full advantage of the opportunities. Because sometimes, too, it can be a grind in this time of year. You know what I mean? Where you're like, man, playing Benton last night, and then we're going to play Herrin on Thursday. We have great opportunities, and now we got to take advantage of those. And it doesn't always mean winning. Sometimes it just means giving our best effort and trusting the process and being as good as we can be.
Don't you think this still makes you guys better?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. And you know, last year had a disappointing thing in the Vandalia game, our last game. Kyler Wilmore,
he got hurt, didn't he?
He dislocated his ankle, missed the next 10 games, came back for the last regular season game, then 2 postseason games. But we've had a little bit of a grind with some things happen last year and this year, injury-wise. And we just, you know, we got to say next man up, push through that. But at the same time, you feel for those kids who are going through the injuries, because those are real human beings who put in blood, sweat, and tears and have some unfortunate circumstances happen.
Our next guest, Russell, I know you're getting ready to ask a question. I can't hear anything, but did you have fun trying to guard him last night?
Well, if I was guarding him, he wouldn't have shot it as many times as we let him. Did I just say that out loud?
You did.
No. TJ Hamilton, and again, he's got some Cesar ties.
He does.
You know, and he stepped up and made shots. Good for him. So.
Well, the last thing we're going to close you out with is just kind of talk about this Cesar team. Obviously, I mean, record might not be what it is, but what you guys want it to be. But I've seen this team play a couple times now. I'd say you guys have some resilience. I know you guys didn't come out on top last night, or when I watched you guys play Goreville, but the team never gave up. Against Goreville, you guys got back within 2. And then in the third quarter, they got up big at halftime, and then you guys got back within 11. Banks got foul trouble, but you guys just never give up. And then you're a younger group as well. What's that kind of help you guys for the future?
Yeah. So we have an interesting group of. We have a senior class that had some success in junior high and our sophomore classes as well. And there's quite a few of them in both classes. We've had, again, I go back to Liam McMurray, had a great summer, and super athletic kid who was really figuring it out the last couple of years. And he tore his ACL week 9 of football. Again, that gives other people opportunities, but I feel for him in so many ways. And then Kistner's had an ankle injury, was out 6 games. So, you know, wins and losses aren't always what it's about, but you're right. We now have opportunities for a lot of kids to step up and get more minutes. And that's only going to help us the rest of this season and into the future. So it's hard sometimes, but at the same time, if these guys can just trust the fact that, hey, they do play hard, you know what I mean? And I think they're trying to trust that process, but it can be difficult, especially for some of the seniors when things aren't going well, because, you know, you can sometimes see a light at the end of the tunnel that you don't want to be, you know what I mean? I mean, we've all been there.
Yes.
Eventually, basketball ends for all of us, you know. And for some people, it's in 4th grade. For some people, it's, you know,
For Doc Young, I don't know if it ever started. I'm not for sure.
Wow.
They kept him out of it.
But no, I'm super excited for the future. And again, I hope to be a part of it, whether it's coaching or just hanging out and being a dad. So, you know, and there's all those opportunities there and in between, and we'll just see how that goes. But I love being a part of teams as a coach. And mostly, here's why I love it, because it's not really the games. It's seeing, can we come together and do some things that nobody thinks we can do, And that's what we still have the opportunity to do this year. So
It's. I always say this. You know this. You've been around it forever. Sports are a microcosm of life, man. You're going to deal with stuff in life.
Yep.
I mean,
things are going to suck sometimes.
Things are going to suck sometimes, man. I mean, sometimes the greens are going to suck at Crab Orchard Golf Course.
Right. Or wherever. And you're
be the main guy.
You're never going to make any more putts than you're going to miss if you're thinking of all the negative things.
Oh yeah.
You just gotta putt it like you're going to make every putt, and that's part of life as well, right? So,
Bryan, I appreciate you coming on with us, man. Me and Russ, we always like to. Obviously, it's Balling for God is the show, and Russ's platform that's doing amazing things for our area.
Yes,
I say this about him all the time, but I love sports. It's a great chance to and it's what FCA does. We're getting to talk about Jesus and sports at the same time.
Yeah.
The only thing that can be better, and I'm going to grab it one more time.
Oh my.
The only thing that can be better is Joe's Pizza with it. Joe's Pizza with it. It's the only thing that can be better.
Shameless plug.
The only thing that can be better with it is Joe's Pizza.
Joe's Pizza Pasta.
That's right. Very well done.
Well, I appreciate you coming on, and I don't know. I really, like I said earlier, the Cessna community is a fun community to be around. Your son's a good kid. That whole sophomore class, I mean, just from being around, they're real good guys, and I just appreciate you coming on. And I hope to catch up with you guys here soon again.
Yell at me anytime. All right.
Appreciate it, brother. Thanks,
well,
man.
Before we go, score update. It's about a minute left in this first game of the day. Carterville's up 64-35 against Meridian. And we'll be back on here soon. And thank you guys for watching.
We'll be right back.
See ya.
we live?
All right, we're back. Eating a little bit.
Are you still eating?
I got Joe's Pizza.
Joe's Pizza.
Hey, don't worry. You're muted there.
Huh?
You were muted. Don't
Thank
worry.
you, Jesus. Thank you. Praise the Lord.
Oh,
On
my.
for God. We've got the man. Now, let's just get it right. Let's just get it right. Not Timmy. Not Timothy. TJ Hamilton. Shooting threes. Almost as good as Travis Severin.
Almost as good. I don't know. Almost. TJ, obviously you've been around this culture for a while. You got your grandpa Ralph and, big basketball
Shoot it, TJ!
family, but you're also a fishing family, and, we're a little bit off the rails here. But talk about Benton Ranger basketball right now. You guys won the first round. You guys are going to be moving into the second round. Just talk about the BIT, how it's going, how the season's going right now.
Our season's going great. I don't think very many people thought we'd be where we're at right now, 14-4. But a little bit of a shock. Everyone thought we'd play Herrin in the second round, but I mean, we've already been watching film, getting ready for 4. And
I'm going to say this about TJ being on with us, Russ. I don't know what's better, his three-point shot or his mustache.
Oh my! What about fishing?
Huh?
What about fishing?
We didn't talk about the angler he is yet. Oh, catch and release over here.
But yeah, I mean, you guys obviously have been fun. But talk about the versatility of the team. I mean, I've been to a few games this year. I think 4 games so far. But every night there's been a different score so far. Talk about, I mean, one night you guys are scoring with Nolan Schaefer scoring 30. One night you're scoring 27. What's that show about your team?
I mean, we just have a bunch of guys who can score, and whoever has the best matchup or whoever's hot that night, we just do a good job getting them the ball and letting them score.
TJ, you've had a chance the last couple of years to watch some great players at Benton. You obviously were a sophomore on a team that went to the state championship game. Last year, you were getting ready to get a bunch. I'll just be honest, because I know Coach Winemiller very well. You were getting ready to get into the rotation as a junior on the varsity team, which was very senior laden. Obviously, with Dr. Tedeschi, Grant Owens, Kyle Thomas. Shafe was a junior. Trey Severin, my son, obviously a senior. Jackson Zettler, Jackson Wiggs. You were getting ready to move in that rotation. Then you got hurt, and I know that's what you've been working for your whole career. As a Christian, was that hard?
I mean, yeah, I would have liked to be able to be out there and help those guys, but I mean, God had different plans. And, they just move on, and my season started off great this year.
I mean,
Can't complain about it.
I say this, TJ, because some kids might have just got all upset, felt sorry for themselves. I mean, you're a junior, you've been waiting for this your whole career. You were scoring about 30 a game there, JV, before you got hurt, were you not? And then did you hurt your hamstring or your knee? What was it?
It was like where 4 muscles join in your knee. It was like a partial tear.
Okay. And then you have to sit the whole summer, and you come out at Goreville, and since then, Russ knows you've been shooting the lights out.
Yeah.
Have you not?
It's been pretty good so far.
He's humble, Russ. He's humble.
Yeah, I know you're kind of humble about it, but 27 points, 7 threes, what you had the other night. That's a career for some guys.
Yes.
And but obviously, fishing's not. Basketball's not always it for you. Fishing during the spring, and you pretty well fish year round. What kind of goes into it for fishing for you? Because not everybody knows about fishing.
I mean, I don't really know what to say. It's just
Basketball or fishing, which one are you better at?
I don't know. I'd probably say fishing. I've been doing it since I was 2 years old.
Wow.
I fell in love with it. Caught my first fish. I think it was either 2009 or 2010.
Are you the next Trevor McKinney?
That'd be nice.
That'd be nice. I can see you as a pro fisherman. I'll say this about you. I know you love to fish because every time basketball season starts, he's got that wild tan line from fishing, we all joke about that tan line he's got from fishing. But TJ, I want to ask you this. The only zone I know how to get into is when I hold up the Joe's Pizza and I eat about 12 pieces of pepperoni. That's my zone. Talk about the zone you were in at Chester.
I mean, I came out, I felt good in warm-ups. I think I missed 2, maybe 3 shots the entirety of warm-ups. And my teammates were setting me screens, and they were going under it. I just kept getting open and shooting it.
How many threes did you have the first half of that game?
7.
You made 7 threes and a half at Chester. What's that feel like as a shooter? Like, does it feel like the goal's as big as an ocean? I mean, what's it?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, your confidence just gets sky high. And every time you get someone open, you just start pulling it, and it's always going in.
Russ?
All right, so I mean, for you, who's been the encouragement of your life? I mean, like, obviously, I mean, we were the Warriors back in the day, so I assume Steph Curry might have had some in there. But talk about Grandpa. I mean, how's Grandpa? I mean, for fishing, basketball, all of it. I mean, talk about the encouragements, your grandpa, everything.
I mean, he's taught me basically all I know about fishing and basketball. Ever since I was a little kid, he's been outside and working with me on my follow through and everything, how to set the hook.
Did you and Trey have some good games of shooting horse over the years and 3 points in practice? I know you two love to shoot the 3.
We played a couple games.
Trey used to always say, Dad, TJ's got the most pretty shot ever, man. I mean, I'm not just saying that. He used to say, dude, and, you know, obviously had a son that liked to shoot the 3-point shot. He'd always tell me, said, his shot is, it's when his feet are set and he's that elbow, he's like, it's money, Dad. I mean, you've made about 100 threes this year already, man.
That's what it feels like. But who won more horse games, you or him?
I think we're pretty close to even.
Craziest shot you've hit?
In game?
In game practice, whichever one. I mean, I'm sure it's pretty lethal.
How fun was it playing? Let me ask you this, TJ. How fun was it playing with Docker?
It was a lot of fun. It was crazy in practice. I was on the defensive side of it more than the offensive side, but
how good was he? I mean, from a guy that was with him every day in practice, having to guard, or maybe not just him, but just being out there and what you saw him do to other teammates, have you tried to integrate any of that into your own game?
Yeah, I definitely try to, but you've always heard the saying, like, the defense is always wrong. Docker was great proof of that. I mean, you take something away, he knew what was open. And
yeah.
He didn't even have to look. He'd just get the ball where it needed to be.
Russ wanted to talk to you about your faith a little bit. You know, this is Following for God, a show that Russ started, you know, several years ago, the platform. Talk a little bit about it. I know you guys go to Emmanuel together.
Yeah, obviously, the youth ministry has grown quite a bit, and we got a lot of buddies that go there now. Talk about how it is being a part of that Emmanuel youth ministry. I mean, was it last year's first year you got to go to Student Life Camp, or did you get to go a year before?
A year before.
Okay, what was it like? I mean, Student Life Camp, how did it help you grow, but then also coming back and having that kind of tight-knit group that we have there?
I mean, Student Life Camp both years has just been very special. It was a crazy experience. I've never seen, I think last year there was close to 1,000 kids there. Everyone was worshiping the Lord, and it was a great experience. I felt like my faith grew a lot both years. It just builds a connection with, like, all those guys that you're around all week. Come back home and you can hold each other accountable.
TJ, how important is Jesus to your life and to not just sports, but how important is that to you, man?
Very important. I mean, he created everything, blessed me with being able to experience basketball, fishing, everything I get to do.
I told Russ this. I said, you know, there's a lot of kids we talk to, a lot of kids we interview, but I asked Trey this, man. I said, Trey, he said, here's the thing about TJ, Dad. He's authentic. He's not fake. You know what I mean? And he's going to be real with you, and that's important to me. You know, because it's easy. I mean, we talk about all the time. Your guys' generation, what are you, 17 or 18?
18.
You're 18. Doc Young's 52 years old. Russell's 19. I mean, you guys see a lot of fake junk in your life, whether it's phones, whether it's AI, Chat GPT, all that junk. But I think your generation, what's so cool is looking for something real.
I mean, I just try to keep it real. I don't care like what people think or what. I just want to be me. People don't like me for being me. That I'm okay with that.
Well, I like how you're being, brother. You got a beautiful shot.
It's right on.
You're a great young man. You got the Lord number one in your life.
Yeah.
And the rest, just from an old guy telling you this, the rest of it will work itself out, man.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I mean, I like seeing these guys that keep God first. 'Cause you're in the locker room with the guys. I'm not saying they don't, but you're in the locker room. It's prone to be a little bit wild, and not everybody keeps God first. What's it mean to you to have like guys on your team or just guys in the community to be able to keep God first?
I mean, I think that's the most important thing in life. And,
There's three over there eat. Dale Irvin walking by, he said, gosh dang it, get Ungie some playing time and give me some pizza. Dale, we can't use those words. I'm balling for God. Ross, anything you want to leave with TJ, buddy?
I just thank you for coming on, because I know we kept you waiting, and you got a big tournament this week. You got school this week still. School's not over.
School?
He's got school still this week.
Oh.
Man, despite the BIT. So we appreciate you coming on and waiting here. We got John Homan coming on after you. We just appreciate you just waiting. It's awesome to have athletes on here, because these media guys, they can come on anytime they want, but athletes, it's getting to hear from the athletes means more, I think.
He's coughing. Don't be getting sick on me, TJ. Don't be getting sick, bud.
Thank you guys for having me. It's hard with. I think I missed school one day whenever you guys were trying to get me on.
Yeah.
But I'm glad we were finally able to work something out where I could come on and talk to you guys.
We appreciate it, man. I know how busy you are. Obviously, I will say one thing. My youngest son, who's on the injured reserve right this second, but I'll tell you this. He was very excited a couple of weeks ago. He got to guard you in practice a little bit. He's just a freshman. And he said, man, Dad, this is Brody I'm talking about. He said, he's unbelievable how it helped him, though, to see how quick the game is. From the difference between freshman JV to varsity, how quick you run through the offense. And he said it helped him a lot having to guard someone like you that has such a quick shot, who's tall, and who's played so long. He was very excited to get that opportunity.
Well, I think that wraps up this segment, as we're getting ready to have Mr. John Homan on, who just called the game for Carterville.
Yeah, John was just on the broadcast with Dave McKenzie.
And so things are getting ready to kick off here for game number 2 tonight between Hamilton County and Vandalia. And we're going to get out here. And
they'll be back Friday, right? They'll take on Flora.
They will be here, Flora.
Yep. That's Ron going against his brother. Jason Hansen versus Ron Winemiller, brother versus brother. Did you know that?
Yeah, Coach talked about that at the end of practice today.
Well, we'll see you guys here soon again. We'll be right back. All right, we're back here for John. John, you just got done calling a game, and you're back talking again. Let's do a little recap of the Carterville game. We weren't able to watch too much, so you might be able to share a little bit more. What was it like getting to see the Lions? They move on once again here in the BIT.
Well, the Lions have been a bit of a surprise to me. I didn't think that they could quite honestly be 19-2 at this point in the
Especially
season.
after Murphy.
Well, yeah, I mean, the thing is, the Lions lost 2 players to transfer. The Wilson boys, Caden, who started varsity last year, and Jaden both moved to Mount Vernon. And then Caden ended up tearing up his knee during this varsity. He was playing for Mount Vernon and playing well. Got hurt, he's out for the year. Mount Vernon, get it right here in a second. Carterville also graduated a couple of very good ball players. So I thought this would be a good year, but not anything close to 19-2. The young players have really stepped up and surprised me.
No doubt. Especially with Harper and Max.
Yes.
They're playing really well. It's been fun to watch them play. I've got to see them, I think, 4 times. And you've got to see them a lot. What's kind of their identity this year?
You know what the identity is? Extremely unselfish play. They're a very pass-heavy team. They keep working it until they get a 3 that they like. And you're right. You mentioned Max and Harper Lustenberger. They're twins. They don't really look alike, but they are twins.
One looks like Slim Shady.
Exactly. You have a junior and Maddox Gully at point guard who's made tremendous strides from a year ago. He was forced into the point guard role a year ago with the injury to Drew Barrington, knocking him out. And Maddox is just grown by leaps and bounds, and that's why they're so competitive this year. They've got balance everywhere across the board. And the one Studley senior, Colton Hawkins, is the glue. He keeps them all together. He runs the show. He can run the point. He can run the post. He can do anything, and he's a very good passer. And that's the reason why the Lions are so good this year, is that they're just balanced and they're not selfish.
It's been a joy to watch them. Travis, you obviously, it's probably going to be tough to see you play because Ben and Carterville are 2 of the top teams, and you'd want the Ben Rangers to win, Travis. But what's it going to be like seeing the Carterville Lions, in the BIT the last few years?
Oh no, I think it's been great, man. Here's the thing, this. Obviously, we had Shane and Colton on a couple weeks ago on the show, and I've known Shane a long, long time. Obviously, he's 2 years older than me at Pinckneyville. I was at Benton, but Ronnie Winemiller and Shane were roommates at SIU. One was a great player, and one was the team manager. But here's reality. They know each other inside and out. Ron and Shane know each other inside and out. Their families all grew up together. They know each other, the Hawkins family and the Winemillers. Obviously, the connection with Dick Korn, Coach Winemiller's uncle being Dick Korn, and obviously Shane playing for Dick. And Ron was like, hey, if we ever get a chance to get these guys in this tournament, let's bring them. They're always good. Shane's one of my best friends. They're a well-coached team. And, when we talked to Shane and Colton a few weeks ago, he talked about, Colton said, these young guys are just awesome. He said, I'm having the most fun I've ever had playing with these guys. And I think you can tell, we were interviewing guys, but we were watching that game. John, you just said it. And they're very unselfish.
Mm-hmm. They really are. And any given night, somebody different can be their leading scorer. We've seen Zach Snow score 26.
He went nuts here tonight.
We did. We've seen Maddox Scully score 24, 25. Of course, Colton's often in the 20s or upper teens. They have guys that can score, and they just don't care who gets the basket. That's why they're playing so well. Of course, you have to have talent too, but they just don't care who's running the show, who's leading the scoring. They're not checking their stats. They just want to make sure whoever has the best look takes the shot.
John, and if people don't know, John Homan is the sports director for the Southern Illinoisan. He also is on broadcast with Dave McKenzie for Carterville Lions. On what station are you guys on?
Oh, we're on WJPF.
All right, WJPF, 1340 AM. Yeah, 1340 AM. And Russ works at the River Radio as well. So I will tell you this much. I'm trying to figure out how you have time to do all you do.
Well, sometimes I wonder myself. When I'm not doing Carterville games, I'm going to a lot of other high school basketball games, girls and boys. I was at El Dorado yesterday watching the girls midwinter over at El Dorado. I saw McLeansboro, saw Racy Phelps play for Hamilton County, just an outstanding player. Saw Harrisburg get upset yesterday. That was a surprise. Edwards County knocked them off yesterday. Edwards County's a pretty good ball club.
Yeah, I've seen it. Not just take it.
So I mean, I love watching girls play too. Marion's has a great team this year. I enjoy watching them play. Carbondale has a very good team.
Yes.
I like very athletic, very quick. I like watching Carbondale play too. And there are some other solid teams. Pinckneyville's that grinding, get in your jock if you're a guy, type of defense, really tight defense by Pinckneyville, and so there's a number of good teams out there, and but Nashville, of course, is the elite. They are without question the best team in Southern Illinois, and in my opinion, the best team in the state. They're doing it without perhaps their best player, Emma Bierman, who's out for the year with a knee injury. And what she didn't do as a scorer, she made up for in defense and rebounding and just grittiness. A great athlete. And yet, despite losing that kind of talent, they're not missing anything. They have so much depth. They just keep coming at you in waves.
Yeah.
And so if Nashville doesn't win state, I'll be surprised.
Yeah. You've been around for a while. Is this the best girls basketball has been? You've been around for a while. Is this the best that girls basketball has been?
You know what? I think it's pretty close. It very well may be. I mean, the seemed like the level just keeps rising. I was talking to the Nashville coach. I said, Dempsey, he's the head coach for Nashville. Who's the next best team? Who's the up and coming best girls team? He said it's got to be Marion. Marion's just getting better and better. They have the numbers, and he said that they're going to be a powerhouse, and I think they're really close.
They're a pretty young team, aren't they?
They are. They're a very young team. Only have one senior starter, Libby Garrett, in the lineup, but they have a very young team, and they're very solid. Carbondale has some young players. Can be very good. McElveen's one of the best point guards I've seen around here for Carbondale. There's a lot of talent in girls basketball. I really enjoy watching the games here. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, it's been obviously the Benton Rangerettes. They've been a pretty solid team to be a part of. I mean, getting to see them the past several years with the Tedeschi of both sides. And then now you got Glover down there and Round County.
Yeah, no doubt. Benton might be one of the hottest teams in the South right now.
Yes, and it's just a joy to see it. I mean, I don't get to see as much as I do boys basketball, but girls basketball definitely needs some coverage and some fan base behind it as well.
Oh, hey, let me tell you, whatever Benton added round count to the lineup this year, who's related to Glover.
Yeah.
What an addition! She's a standout player, and she makes Benton 25% better with that addition alone. The Rangerettes are going to be a force to reckon with in 2A in the postseason.
Yeah.
John, let me ask you this. You've been around basketball a long time. You've been around sports for a long time. We had Jim Muir. I know you know Jim.
Yep.
We had Jim on to start the work together.
Yeah.
We had Jim on to start the show at 6 o'clock. And that might be the loudest one in America, but he talked about Shane Hawkins and what Dick Korn came to him his senior year and said to Shane, hey, you could score 30 a night and we could be a good team. He said, or you could score 20 a night and get your other teammates involved, and we might do something special. Obviously, they won a state title in 1994. You think Shane has maybe said something like that to Colton, like, hey, man, you could probably score 30 a night, but I'm just saying, for me, I'm going to watch them when I watch you guys on film. I watched your Murfreesboro game on your guys' live, your TV, whatever you call the broadcast. I watch it on YouTube. And then I watched his highlights and different things. It seems like Colton is really taking on that role as a leader. And if he needs to score 26, great. If he needs to score 12 and have 8 rebounds and 9 assists, he'll do it.
Well, he certainly does. I mean, Colton is so unselfish. He passes up a lot of very high percentage shots.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of scorers, Dave would tell you, a lot of scorers, they don't think about that. They're open, they're going to take the shot. They're getting rid of it.
Yeah.
But Colton is happier to get 12 to 16, 18 points a game, and have his teammates score 8, 10, 12 points a game or so, because he knows it makes them better overall as a team. And he has to be one of the most unselfish players I've ever watched. And
sure.
it's not just his ability to score or his ability to pass. What has impressed me as a longtime observer of the game is his anticipation. He can read the floor. He gets the balls, gets the hand on balls, tips balls, just creates turnovers on defense because of his anticipation. And seeing the floor so well, you know it. Those coaches' sons seem to have that knack. They just have that court vision that not everybody possesses.
John, his basketball IQ, I've talked about him with it before. His basketball, Shane had the same thing. His basketball IQ, his basketball acumen is high.
Absolutely.
He's really fun to watch. And your cohort in prime over here, Dave McKenzie, I'm going to let Dave sneak over here and take my spot for a minute because I'm going to eat some more Joe's Pizza. But you guys get to see it up close every night. Does anyone, my last question before I go away for a minute, does anyone coach harder than Shane Hawkins?
Maybe Daryl. Maybe.
Go ahead, Dave. You take that one.
But no, you know what? He's an intense guy on the floor. It is what it is. But you got a handful of coaches that are like that. You got Shane. You got Daryl Murphy, Joe Hossman. You know, they're the old school coaches. They'll get on you. They're going to get in you, and you better figure out what they're saying and do it on the floor. So.
What kind of edge does a team have whenever they have like a Shane Hawkins or Joe Hossman on the bench for them?
There's not a lot they haven't seen. I think that's the main thing is, you know, he was in our post game today, he was talking about the fact that Meridian, you didn't know what kind of defense they were going to be in on any given possession, but the fact that he picked up on it, you know, and how they changed their defense possession to possession. So, you know, there's just that level of there's not a lot that should surprise them from a coaching standpoint. Now, I think the key is being able to translate what he's seen to his players to get them to react and do the things that they need to counter that.
Well, just to add in with that, you know, I mean, Shane is definitely one of those guys he'll yell, but he yells for impact. He yells to try to get the attention of his kids, but also to instruct at the same time. And he just has one of those voices to carry, you know, so that the players hear him very clearly, and he knows what he's talking about. He's been there and done that, not only at Pinckneyville, but at SIU. And where he's with a standout player, you have to respect the guy who has been through the wars like he has, and that's what makes you know, when you can, not every good player is a good coach, but Shane David is just one of those guys. He was both.
Well, let me tell you what, where we're sitting here tonight and the name of the gymnasium that we're in right now, there are a lot of similarities between Shane Hawkins and Rich Herrin. And the main one for me, whenever I go to practice and he is in the middle of practice and he is doing what coaches do, I can't understand a single word he says. His tone is right in my dead spot, hearing-wise. And I will even ask the players, like, what'd he say? And 9 times out of 10, they're going, I don't know. We'll figure it out here in a minute, you know, and then...
Yeah, there's some similarities there.
I just snuck back on the camera. Russ doesn't understand. Obviously, my dad graduated 76 from Benton, and obviously, you know, was very close with Rich, but they called him Mumbles for a reason.
They did.
He's just got that tone, that pitch,
yeah,
that I don't pick up on. I hear him better doing the games from where I'm at now than I do when I'm 3 feet away from him on the floor. So,
yeah, and you know, you mentioned, I mean, the biggest difference might be that Rich was really good at stomping that
yeah.
foot.
They both got the stomp,
you know,
foot stomp, though.
But, you know, there you go.
And like Rich, Shane will have a hip replacement here in about a couple of years. So,
yeah.
I love it with Shane. You know, when my oldest was playing last year, we play you guys in the regional championship. I keep the book. Ronnie Winemiller makes me keep the book so I can't get thrown out. On away games, at home games, someone else does it because they've done it. Dr. De La Torre's done it for 30 years. I do the road games, and I joke with Shane. I've known him forever. He was coaching that game at McLeansboro from about Ron's coaching box.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
Now, I did bring up Daryl Murphy. I can tell you that Daryl's high jump is much better than Shane's high jump. Daryl still got hops in him, and we saw it the other night,
we did.
last Friday night, in that conference win at Murphy, and he came out of the rafters a couple of times there on a couple of the plays.
Fourth quarter, he was losing his mind.
Yes, he was. So.
Dave, we heard it from John, but talk about, he said the identity was kind of like the unselfishness of the team. And so from your perspective, I mean, what's it been like to be a viewer of the Carterville Lions the past several years, but then to see them this year, how they're going 19-2?
Hey, listen, remember, it wasn't that long ago. We had a Carterville team that won 5 games in one season, and that was brutal. And I do think about that frequently. And, we've had some really good Carterville teams. We've been up around 20 win teams, but I got to tell you what, this team, I'm kind of thinking back to the 2017 team that went to the Super Sectionals. That this team could rival that team, and we see it every night. And John's exactly right. The unselfishness, they just want the best shot, and they'll work the ball around to whoever gets it, because we never know who's going to be the high scorer that night, because it's not the same guys. You get Shane. You can pretty well count on Colton. He'll live up to his 16-point average every night. But he hasn't. I would think that he would do that, but we've seen a couple of games where he's got 5 and we still win by 15, 20. And it's impressive, and we saw it tonight against Meridian. There were 4 or 5 possessions there where they had 5, 6, 7 passes. Every shot was open. Any one of them could have pulled the trigger, but they just kept looking for that extra pass. And you hear coaches talk about, get the extra pass, and finally somebody's just got to go, all right, I got the shot, I'm going to go, and that's what they do.
I would just add to that I would say that over the course of the entire season, Carterville has taken maybe 5 or less bad shots.
Wow.
But the criticism would be that they sometimes try too hard to make the perfect pass, so they might turn the ball over because they try to get, they're almost too good at passing. They just want to get a more perfect shot. But as far as taking a bad shot, I can think of very few times when they've had a bad shot. It's either a layup off, or it's a wide open look for a 3. You just don't see, ugly shots from Carter. You just don't.
Yeah. And for me, I was there. I told John I've watched him about 4 or 5 times this year. And for me, something that sticks out to me, especially after watching him play Murfreesboro, is the resilience. They're down 43-29 middle of the third, 46-35 after 3, and they come back, and you had players stepping up like Johnny Miller coming off the bench, and he played extraordinary defense.
Johnny Miller.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, he's got a good play. Yeah. Well, I got to tell you, and I said to Shane in our pregame interview, I spend a lot of time, especially like Friday night at Murfreesboro, in that fourth quarter, we weren't playing well. I mean, we just couldn't hit shots, like John was saying. That's our problem. It's not that we take bad shots. We just can't. We have cold shooting nights. But there was a timeout taken about 5 minutes left in that game, and it was not an X's and O's timeout for Shane. It was a gut check timeout, and it was just a conversation. He sat with his arms crossed. He sat in the back of his chair, and he eyeballed every one of his players. And the thing I noticed is they had their head up and they were watching him and listening to what he said. Bring Johnny Miller in. He's the spark plug. You get that one turnover, then you get the bucket. Then you get another turnover. And then what flips, that switch that we talk about, is now Murphy has gone from trying to play to win a game to playing to not lose a game. And Carterville just cranked up that defense and cranked it up and got the buckets. Then you had Hawk that hit the 3 to give him the lead. And then you had Zach Snow hit the 3 from the corner. And Johnny Miller had a nice putback. And we hit free, and it was just that fast. That's how quickly they got back into the game and got the win.
Yeah, 25-10 in that fourth quarter.
Yeah.
I've seen this year. It's just been real fun to see a team like that. And I don't know, because you guys got to get on the road. You got to go back to Carterville, and But talk about the team. What's coming up after this. I mean, you got the BIT this week, and then the season. We've already played 21 games. Season's coming up to an end real close.
Here's the interesting thing about that. Yeah, you're right. We played 21 games. We've only played 3 home games all season.
Wow.
So now we're going to get the back half of that schedule here for the second half of the season. I would think, sitting here, that would bode well for the Lions going out. We're sitting on 19 wins. We're 19-2. We got Benton that's going to be coming to town next week. We won the EHT, the Lions did. An impressive showing that they had there. First time they'd won the EHT. Like to come out of this tournament, I don't want to jinx anything, but you want to finish strong in your midwinter, and then you want to get down to those last 4 conference games. You want to we kind of control our own destiny conference-wise. We're in that top slot tied with Herrin right now. You gotta take control of your conference games and close out strong.
Dave and John, 2A seems wide open.
My goodness, it's crazy, isn't it? I'm glad we're not a 1A team. When you look at those Jefferson County schools and Agoraville and Sparta, I'm just glad that we're not a 1A team.
They're really good. All these teams are 1A are so solid and
crazy.
2A though, Dave. But I'd say Nashville and Carterville I think are the best. Right now.
Yeah, I think as you look at it, really, they're the 2 ranked teams in Southern Illinois in 2A. So, you just gotta. But it's all coach speak. You can't look at that stuff. You just got to take it a game at a time. And if you do that, everything else is going to take care of itself.
Yeah, that's how it is. And I don't know. It's like I said, it's been fun to watch the team. I think this is. A lot of people probably are like, man, I don't know. We don't have all those top guys like we usually do. But I still think this is one of the best years of Southern Illinois basketball as far as everybody being so balanced. I mean, it's just been so fun.
I think we like to call that parity, correct?
Yeah.
Is that the word? That's what we got. So
almost anybody, is like with parity, almost anybody can step in and pull the supplies.
Yeah.
And so you got not just Carterville and Nashville. They may be the ranked teams in the state, but you've got other teams that are capable. Benton, Pinckneyville, Murfreesboro, are all very capable in 2A of doing some damage. And I'm sure I'm leaving out somebody else, but those are some of the best teams in Southern Illinois that are 2A schools.
We forgot Sparta's 1A this year too.
Yeah, Sparta and Carlisle dropped down to 1A.
Right, exactly.
Well,
1A is nuts.
Yeah,
1A is nuts. I mean, you got all those Jefferson County schools, and even the Mount Vernon Rams, they're doing pretty solid in the 3A level. It's something's going on in Jefferson County.
It's in the water out there, I think. So,
I mean, Woodlawn is very strong. Waltonville is very strong. Mount Vernon, of course, is always very strong, but. I don't know who the best 1A team is. Right now I'm in my each week I vote in the Associated Press poll. I've been right now until they prove otherwise. I've got Goreville above the other 1A schools because they beat Waltonville in the Cessna Championship game.
Yeah.
But any given night, Woodlawn, Woodlawn, Weber Township, Waltonville, and of course I'm at Sparta. All those teams are really, really solid teams. And I saw Sparta play over at DuQuoin. They impressed the heck out of me over there.
Okay.
So
especially against Murphy.
It's the deepest 1A pool in my lifetime.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
I've been very spoiled the last couple of years with 1A basketball, and this year it seems like every year that I've been covering it seems like 1A got better and better and better. Oh yeah, and then guess what? We got 3. Is it 3 or 4 state ranked? 4.
There's actually four teams that are 4 different classifications, 1 through 4. Is that what you're asking?
I was talking about for our 1A teams. Do we have 4 state-ranked teams?
Well, yes. I think if not the top 10, the top 12 or 13. Yeah, you're right. You've got Woodlawn, Goreville, Waltonville, and maybe Sparta. Are in the top 10.
I think Sparta's like 12.
Yeah.
Well, in Nesto, you've got about 7.
So yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
So just fun time if you're a basketball fan in Southern Illinois.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Well, we really appreciate you guys coming on.
You guys are doing a great job with everything. And really enjoy watching it. So
what you're doing, just
man, dude. He's
I'm telling you.
19 years old, and Darren's got him all over the place.
Yeah,
stuff we do together, and Dr. Young's. I don't know what they do, but they're up all night.
That's true.
Camps.
You just keep doing what you're doing, man.
I really appreciate it. I appreciate you guys coming on, and I'm sure I'll see you guys around here soon again.
Just yell.
No telling where we're going to be at Friday and Saturday.
That's true.
But it's a fun time of year.
Yeah.
Thanks very much for having us.
Thanks for coming.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We'll see you.
We'll be right back.
We'll be right back as we are halftime of game number 2 of day number 2. It's Hamilton County up 26-19 against Vandalia. Winner will face. Will they face
Carterville.
Carterville.
Winner of this game plays Carterville.
Winner of this game plays Carterville.
Friday night, that's a 7:30 game. The 6 o'clock game Friday night will be Benton, Flora. Thursday night will be Herrin Sesser, and then Meridian versus the loser of this game Thursday night. Friday night will be Benton, Flora, and then Carterville versus the winner of this game.
All right, well, we're going to go back to a little bit of break and might have Coach Winemiller on here soon.
Grab some pizza. Born ready.
All right, welcome back. As this is our final guest of today's live show, Coach Winemiller of the Benton Rangers, host of the tournament. Coach, you guys obviously beat Muir, and now you're heading on to Flora, another Black Diamond team.
Yeah, we're looking forward to playing them. They looked really good last night. Had a really good win over Herrin. So we're excited about Friday night.
Ronnie, you play, not everyone knows this, you play your brother Friday night. Have you ever played against each other, like head coaches?
Yep, I'm 0-3.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Where was he at when you guys?
Well, we had 2 Ziegler versus Elkville battles.
Oh, wow.
What year was that?
Like 99, 2000.
Oh, these guys weren't born yet.
And then we had a really good team. Cruz Hayes was a senior.
Okay.
Brennan Richardson, when he was at T-Town,
Yeah.
he brought those guys down. We played them in the Rich Herrin Classic.
I remember.
And they beat us in that. So trying to get off the snide Friday night.
Tell the viewers on here, I almost said the listeners, the viewers right now, the BIT, obviously, is this the third year of the 18 format?
Yes.
So this is the third year of the 18 format. We had Jim Muir on first. A lot of people don't realize when the tournament started in 74, it was an 18 format. In 1980, it went to the round robin. 3 years ago, you went to the 18 format. What was kind of the thinking of changing it from round robin to 18? I know you and I have talked about it, but the person out there in YouTube land and stuff maybe doesn't know.
Well, I think a lot of it was, Coach Herrin, when he started it, the premise was that's what you had to do at the state tournament was play 1 game on Friday and 2 on Saturday. And, that's since changed. So I think that was a big part of it. And now, also the way you counted your games, you got 16 regular season games and 3 tournaments. Now it's just 31 straight games, regardless of, you could play 31 tournament games if you wanted to. So I think not trying to jam 5 games in a week, which just absolutely guts you for about 2 weeks, was a big, and we had teams that wanted to add a lot to the tournament. So I think that was the big reason.
You think we get away without the buzzer anymore?
Loudest buzzer ever.
Buzzer's loud in your ear. I will agree.
You know what? I would say this is one of my favorite gyms to be a part of. And you grew up playing in it. You've grown up around it. What's it mean come BIT week? Bring all these teams in here. What's it mean as a player, before as a player, now as a coach? What's it mean to you?
Well, as a player, the thing I'll tell you is I'm glad they replaced the floor because you get a floor burn, and that thing was still there when you graduated. It would still be there 2-3 months later. So it's one of those things that you look forward to it every week, every year. It's a week where you're going to be tested physically and mentally, and you're going to play really good people. So that's what I think about it. I mean, I can remember my senior year, we had a snowstorm and we didn't play on Monday, so we played Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, 2 Saturdays. So it was really difficult to prepare your body, but it probably taxed you as much physically as it did mentally as it did physically.
Ronnie, the BIT, I'm impartial to it, obviously being a lifelong Benton Ranger. You played in it several years yourself as a McLeansboro Fox. I didn't say Hamilton County, as a McLeansboro Fox. And then you came to Benton, and now Hamilton County comes to this tournament. Talk a little bit about growing up, watching it. You had your uncle coach, obviously Dick Korn at Pinckneyville. Your dad was athletic director at McLeansboro. Talk a little bit about how that's a feeling for you.
Well, I can still remember right up there, my grandma and grandpa sitting every year watching Dick's, because they got the chance to drive 15 miles and watch Dick's team play 5 times, and then watch Jason play and watch me play. My grandma, before she passed, watched me coach in it. So, that's something that will always be really special and for me, and just some of the games you talked about. I had a chance. I won't say played. I was in the book for the Pinckneyville-McLeansboro game, the 1 versus 2 game that people talk about on Friday night. It was crazy. I mean, I read Hawks.
What year?
Would have been 93.
Okay.
So I read Hawks' little blurb. I mean, I just remember walking in and the place was almost packed, at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
And couple of those games we had against Pinckneyville, as a coach, and it's just a lot of history of this. You can probably pick out 25 really good games, and people don't even talk about the really good Cairo teams and the really good Oakville teams, and just look at the program, all the state teams that have played in this.
Ronnie, this will be you one day, and not just because we're friends and I need Brody more playing time, but I've known you a long, long time. Ronnie, it's pretty amazing when you look at the list of coaches that are Hall of Fame coaches that have coached in this tournament.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you start looking at guys who have gyms named after them and floors named after them. And to think that we have had some success in it and won it a couple, 3 times. And just to be mentioned with those teams and those guys is a huge honor for me and for my teams.
Coach, for you, I mean, this tournament, it's seen some change over the past few years. I mean, you have Ben Daly, who's leaving after this year. You have Flora on your team, Carterville, Herrin. But, I mean, it's not like these guys aren't connected to you. I mean, you had Coach Hawk. I mean, you guys know each other for a very long time. And Schertz was an alumni from here. Talk about all the new teams that have come in and what it means to have these guys a part of the BIT.
Well, I think when Pinckneyville decided to leave, we were really worried about replacing them, and Roosevelt was not but they were fit for a year because we kind of were in a little bit of a crunch. And, to have Flora come in, who I think has a great history. They're probably just a little too far from here for people to know their history, but they're a very proud basketball town. And now to bring T-Town in this thing next year is just going to add to the legacy of the BIT.
Ron, here's what I thought about. It's pretty cool. Sailor Schertz played in the BIT. Shane Hawkins played in the BIT. Ronnie Winemiller played in the BIT. Jason Hansen played in the BIT. Doug Miller played in the BIT. I mean, how many tournaments out there do you have 5 coaches that played in that tournament they're coaching in?
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that makes this special. And Doug being able to coach his alma mater is a big deal, and it's got a nice team. They've hit a little rough patch, for a week or so, but playing well tonight and going to maybe get themselves a chance to play a really good Carterville team on Friday.
Speaking of Carterville, obviously we had Hawk on the show just a week ago, and we just had Dave McKenzie, who's the voice of the Carterville Lions, on with us a second ago with John Homan, who's the sports editor of the Southern Illinoisan. Carterville, take away the hiccup against Massac, has been really, really, really solid. In 2A, I think Nashville and Carterville have been your 2 most solid teams so far through about 20 games.
Yeah, and Carterville's got a couple signature wins that a lot of people don't have. They got a win over Nashville. They got a win over a fully healthy Pinckneyville team. That's what people look at Pinckneyville's record. They don't realize they were without arguably their best guard.
Yes.
For about 5 or 6 games. So, yeah, I think that Carterville and Nashville played really good basketball, and kind of see how it shakes out. But in Murfreesboro, same thing. Now they got Hale back in the lineup, so there's a lot of basketball to be played, and it'll be interesting to see what happens in a couple weeks when we see those regionals.
2A seems Ronnie. 2A seems wide open.
Probably more so this year than I think last year. Everybody knew Althoff was probably the best team. No, probably they were. I think 2 years ago, people considered us to be the best team. The year before that, probably you had to look at Central, who got upset by Pinckneyville. Yeah. The year before that, Nashville. So I think for the last 4 years, there's been a consensus best team. 3 out of those 4 years, that team has gone to the Super Sectional, or if not the state tournament. So this year, I think you can make a case. If Columbia gets hot, if Modern Day's got a really good player.
Modern Day just knocked off Marion last night.
Yeah, Murfreesboro's got something a lot of people don't have. That's a really skilled big guy.
He's huge.
So I think what a lot of people probably listening don't understand is it so much comes down to your matchup. I can remember you called me 17 times after we went to the state tournament. And you said, what about Byron? And I said, and I told you, I said, they're a good matchup, and Phillips was not a good matchup. Sometimes that's just simple as that.
Oh, yeah.
But it's one of those things that you gotta prepare your kids and go out and compete and see what you can do on that given night.
Hey, Coach, obviously we're gonna get you out here quick because then you got to get prepared for this Friday. But BIT week's strolling along, and you guys obviously lost Peteyville this past weekend, but the team is like a lot of people would say this team is doing a lot better than they expected. For you, what's kind of surprised you about the team? Who's kind of stepped up in bigger roles that you kind of were happy that they stepped into those roles?
Well, we replaced people talk about losing one really good player, but we also replaced Grant Owens, who started for 2 years. We replaced Kyle Thomas, who played a boatload, started and played a lot as a sixth man his junior year. We replaced Trey Severin, who started every game last year. We replaced Jackson Zeller, so we replaced a lot of guys. And I think every one of the kids that we plugged into those spots have really done what we need them to do. Clay Gage has really done a good job of running the team. He's really kind of the things that we've talked to him about. He's really taken those and growing.
He seems to me like he's taken a leap since Christmas.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think he's really playing some good basketball. And the other thing I would say is TJ's really shot it well.
Yeah.
So that's a thing, and that opens it up for your athletes. And Schaefer and Porter. And when you throw a sophomore in there and Porter, you never know what you're going to get. I think Drake's been really good.
Yes.
Nolan, since fighting some sickness at Christmas, I think the last week or so, he's looked much, much more like himself. And now, Wiggs has fought some stuff too. And now I thought he looked great last night.
Best game of the year last night.
Yeah, so we're excited about where we're at. We just got to keep coming to practice every day and getting better.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. It doesn't matter. I tell everybody this. It doesn't matter until the last 7 games.
That's right.
In the postseason.
That's right, yeah.
I mean, you could be I think I talked to Kyle Cooper about this when they went through their little rough stretch. I said, it doesn't matter if you lose the rest of your games until the postseason. You go in there 0-30 and still win the championship. We talked about it with John Homan earlier today. I didn't realize this because I'm younger, but Herrin, back in the day, they were 5-18. Is that right? Going in, and they made a super sectional run. Anything can happen, and
that was my senior year. We beat them the last game of the regular season, and then they just went crazy, got hot, all about matchups, and they played Peteyville in the super, and that Peteyville team went on to be Coach Corn's first state championship team. So, yeah, you never know. You just got to win that 9, keep moving on.
Well, we really appreciate you coming on. Benton is where me and Travis are from. This is our place. So we're just happy to see you guys doing good. It's always fun.
I was going to ask you something real quick, Ronnie. I know you got to get out of here. I know you're scouting and stuff. T-Town, we're allowed to say that, right? Coming in next year. Vandalia leaving. The other schools, are they kind of set to come back for a while?
Yeah, everybody's set for either this is year 1 of 3 or next year resets everybody. And so at least for the next 3 years, everybody's set.
That's good, man, because I think you're going to have some good matchups the next, Herrin's young, Carterville's young. You take away Colton, they're young, man. Herrin's super young.
I'm ready for them to take away Colton. I'm ready for him to.
It seems like he's been there about 9 years.
Yeah, he's a
tremendous player.
And the thing he's doing that he didn't do as much the last couple years is he's guarding the other team's best player. He's rebounding. He's handling the ball. The last couple years he's been able to just kind of be a catch and shoot guy, and now he's really doing a good job of playing every facet of the game, and that's why they've really kind of taken off.
Russ, any last words here, buddy?
Well, just like I said, we're happy to see the Rangers going, and we'll always be supporting you guys. So, thank you guys for coming on, taking your time. We had you on earlier when we first started, and thank you for coming on again.
Hey, thanks for having me, and thank you guys for doing this. Appreciate you doing this for the tournament. So we'll see you guys Friday.
See you, man.
Thanks, guys.
Well, that's our final guy tonight.
Yeah. Russ, let me ask you, since it's our live show for the week, we don't do an intro. How does this work?
I don't know. Do you want to do a trivia this week?
How does that work?
I don't know. I didn't think about that part yet.
We won't be back on till next week.
Yeah, because we don't have our Player of the Week revealed yet.
Right, we don't have our Player of the Week.
Right now, you can go vote till Wednesday. Well, that's tomorrow at 12 p.m. The voting closes.
You want to just do our trivia next week?
Yeah, we do our trivia and And
Player of the week.
We'll talk about our player of the week next week.
We're working on getting Dever and Coach Lowry on.
Yeah.
Because
Dever won player of the week. And
what's that?
Dever won player of the week, and he had a good week.
Oh yeah, he did. Had a great week. And then who are the guys that are up for player of the week right now?
Pulling that up now.
Loudest horn in America, by the way. I mean, I guess because we're by the scoreboard. I will have dreams of this horn at Rich Herrin Gym. Let's hit it. Who's this week to vote for?
The guys that you can vote for this week is Tyler McConnell from Peeneyville. He averaged 17.5 points per game.
He dunked it 57 times.
7 rebounds, 2 blocks per game, and 5 dunks on the week.
I watched those dunks.
Another guy is DJ Hayes from Sparta. He's
a stud.
Sophomore.
Yeah.
He had 31 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists in the win versus Westland.
Wow. Western Clinton County.
Yes, and that's a good ball club over there. You got Gavin Rahm over there.
Yes.
And then to put those type of stats up against a team like
huge.
that.
Yeah.
They beat West.
The sophomore.
They beat them twice now in the years.
Right.
53-49 on the road, and then now 69-61 at home. Another guy is Zach Snow. He had a heck of a week.
We saw him tonight.
Yes, he had 26 points in the win versus Carbondale in an 81-55 win. And then they turn around. They're down 43-29 at the middle of the third. 46-35 after 3. Zach Snow and the Carterville Lions outscore Murfreesboro 25-10 on the road again. I'm just keeping that in mind.
I know.
And Snow had 17 points in the win. He had a big 3, put them ahead 58-56, and they won that ball game 60-56. That's a big game. It kind of gives them the control over their conference. I mean, well, it lets them control their own destiny. As Herrin and Carterville are now 3-1. Carterville already beat Herrin on the road,
right?
And then they will have 4 more conference games. Now, I'm not 100% sure, but I believe they're all at home. Besides Harrisburg, they're on the road at Harrisburg. But Snow averaged 21.5 points per game, 3.5 rebounds, 1.5 steals, and again, that's 17 big points in that win versus Murfreesboro.
Wow. And
then our other guy's kind of short from Cesar Blair. I got to see him play against Goreville, and then against Ziegler Royalty, he had 31 points, 7 threes.
I saw him last night in the first half when the game was a little tighter. I mean, he has a nice shot, man. Really nice three-point shot.
Oh, yeah. Whenever he gets confident and he's slinging it, he can really knock some down. He had averaged 22.5 on the week. He had 10 threes on the week.
Wow.
And then, again, that 31 points against Ziegler.
So a couple of those guys you can see here in the tournament. A couple of those guys are here at the BIT.
Let's see. 2 of those guys are at the BIT. 2 of those guys are over at the Sparta Midwinter. And they're over at Sparta Midwinter, and Peeneyville and Sparta have a chance at facing off as Peeneyville and Murfreesboro are in the same pool. And that's our Joe's Pizza Player of the Week nominations. As make sure to vote. Make sure to vote on Instagram. And just select who your Player of the Week is. I mean, it's been a fun week. Basketball is my favorite time of year. It's the best time of year in my opinion. That's when Jesus was born, December 25th. So that just, basketball just adds to this time of year.
I love this time of year because I'm into full depression mode now. My Bears got beat. Caleb Williams had the throw of his career. The
Bears magic ran out.
The Bears did lose to the Rams. So now I'm rooting for the Seahawks. I'm rooting for a Seahawks just because I want to see something crazy.
JSN.
I want to see Denver Seahawks Super Bowl.
That'd be something. Well, it's going to be tough without Bo Nix, I will say.
I just need Stidham to go nuts.
Yeah. I'd like to see the Packers win one sometime.
I can't hear him. It's going out. It's cutting out. It's cutting out. It's cutting out.
Oh, my. But, basketball's coming up. It's the best week, one of the best weeks. A lot of people love the holiday tournaments.
Yeah.
Midwinters are just almost as good because these guys, they're going to school still. They're still going to school. They have to get their math test. They have a math test tomorrow.
Oh my God, I have nightmares. I have nightmares about school still. Oh, I almost hit a full court shot.
Wow.
Russ, wrap it up for us this week. It's been a fun night, man. Our first live show, 2.5 hours. Recap. Jim Muir, longtime voice of the Rangers. He writes the introductory to the BIT book every year. Unbelievable. Jim did 400 BIT games live, broadcasts.
And that's a real number, by the way.
I'm not making that number up, and I make a lot of numbers up. Then we had Bryan Laur from Cesar, who is the FCA director for Southern Illinois Fellowship of Christian Athletes.
The bottom 18 states, he said.
Bottom 18, not states, counties.
Yeah, I mean, we're states over here. I mean, we're
bottom 18 counties. His son Banks plays for Cesar. Then we had
TJ
Hamilton, who's the sharpshooter for the Benton Rangers. TJ Hamilton from Benton was on. Then we had John Homan on, John Homan, sports editor of Southern Illinois. We had Dave McKenzie. My God, that's the last I've ever heard. We had Dave McKenzie, the voice of the Carterville Lions. And then we had Big Ron Winemiller.
Yeah, it was a fun show. We had quite a bit of different guys on the show. That buzzer. I guess they're trying to get us out of here. Well,
it's nuts. Loudest thing I've ever heard in my life. I feel like I'm at a casino. I feel like I'm at a casino.
Well,
Dr. Young's never been to one.
I hope not. I mean, we're not in Las Vegas.
No, we're not.
Well,
you can't go at 18?
I'm not going to Las Vegas. I'm not going to spend all my money. I'd like to keep some money.
We're 2.5 hours in. We better wrap it up, Russ.
All right.
We better wrap it up, Russ.
All right. Well, appreciate you guys staying on.
Red Lake Cabins in the Woods.
Red Lake Cabins.
Red Lake Cabins in the Woods. Red Lake Cabins in the Woods.
Red Lake Cabins in the Woods. This show was brought to you by Red Lake Cabins in the Woods and Jesse Young. A little tidbit here. Go follow Riverside Bison on Facebook. As Jesse Young, he has a lot of bison out in his front yard, over there in West City. So make sure to go follow them.
Don't forget, All Stars and Stickers. Dave Severin, All Stars and Stitches. They're our trivia guys. No trivia tonight, but we have trivia next week. And they make our stuff for us, and it's good times, man. Dave Severin, call Big Dave. He's on East Main. You know who else? Joe's Pizza's on East Main. 43. What's the phone number? All Stars and Stitches open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, 10 to 5, 11 to 5.
618-435-555-555. All right, well, we're going to get out of here as it's 50-26. Hamilton County looks like they might run away with this one. It's 7 minutes left in this ball game, and, it's a good show.
Fun times, Russ. Hey, the lights are on.
The lights are on.
A lot of fun, Russ. Enjoy doing it every week with you, buddy. You do a great job, Russ.
All right.
Great job. You got to have to up my pay, though, from $0 to $1.
All right. Made 1 penny. I don't know where I'm going to get them at, though. Do you have any pennies? All right. Well,